The assignment is to take two photographs, one of the Market Fest that I have right here, and the other one is of the St. Mary's Church. And I laid them two together to show you that St. Mary's Church will be on top of that, and here's how I'm going to begin. First of all, I draw my format. I'm sorry you can't see the entire thing on top, but it's a rectangle. Then within that rectangle, I'm staying low to the lower portion of it, so that I will put my tents and different triangle shapes as they go across the bottom and the street that you walk into the Market Fest. There's an umbrella right here. Now, don't be critical and saying, well, okay, this is a little bit awkward, because this is only a sketch. It's just the placement it took me about, what, 15 minutes to do, and I'm drawing very, very quickly just to get how I can tie all of these in. Now we got a building here that I will put in. No, that's just partial building, and then we also have tree branches that go in front of that building, and then there's other trees behind. Now I have to make that up. Now this is St. Mary's Church that I'm going to put in behind. Now you see a lot of these churches in Europe, and they're wonderful buildings to put as a foil behind something. And so I'm going to go with the sky here, and I'm going to put this tower that St. Mary's Church is noted for, and just sketch it in. And you know, I don't know exactly what size, so right now I'm just experimenting to see maybe this is the size I should have it, or maybe I should have it bigger. But I think this is the right size that I would like it to be. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It's a silhouette, and that's only what I'm interested in. And so I'm going to shade it in with my pencil so that you can see the silhouette a little bit easier as we go into paint. Now the first thing you want to do is take neutral tint, test it out, and then put it down as a light middle value. Obviously this is a dark middle value that I'm painting, and so I'm going to correct that. As you can see, I'm putting more water on it. It's still very, very wet, and so I'm going to paint it in, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to blot it so that it'll lighten up, because it's way too dark from what I want it to be. And no detail at all, it's just one gigantic shape. And then taking my brush, I'm going to lift some of the water that's running down, and I saw how well that lifted up, so I thought, well, why not just take the Kleenex and lift it off that way. And as I did that, I got some gradations of lights and darks, and I rather like that too. So I might use that technique when I paint the real watercolor. Okay, now going on with the middle value, I'm going to mix up another value, but I'm going to be careful that it's not as dark as that. And it's still dark, but I'll put more water in it. This neutral tint is very difficult to get light, and so you've got to kind of work at it. And the side of the paper you can use as a guide. Now as I'm doing this, I know that's the trees behind that building, but I'm not sure in front of the building, so I think I'm going to merge the two together, just like I did. Just go right in, and I got some leaves that go in front of the building that's caught light, and so I'll leave those white shapes there for right now, but I don't know if they'll stay there or not. And then I'm going to make sure I get my triangles painted in here with the tents, and also I have an umbrella one that's over on that side, so that's a different shape. And also I'm leaving a separation between the church and the trees, which I wouldn't have to do. But it's one of those things that you don't know, so you leave it until you're sure you want to cover it. And this was the truck that I'm putting in as a silhouette, just like I did the church. It's a nice white wall, but the white wall can be very boring, so I'm going to put a tree in front of that white wall, and that breaks up that wall very, very nicely. The sun actually is coming from the right to the left, and these are signs, you know, You do not enter signs, and we find them in Europe all the time. I see it in European paintings. And so I thought, well, that would be kind of nice to put in as signage in this particular painting. And so then I'm going to darken this road up, except I'm going to leave a little light right towards the middle there, as you can see. And then I'll just build that up. Now I'm going to go with the middle dark value. Now this is not real black. It looks black on the screen, but it'll turn much lighter when it dries. And I'm now eliminating that white, and so the trees are pushing back the cathedral, St. Mary's Church, into the background because it's darker. So it's receding that, and it's advancing the tree shape. And all of this is one big shape as you go through this. Now, there's my building, so I thought, okay, I'm going to make that building dark now, and then the trees behind it can be of a lighter value, which I think worked very, very nicely. And so I'm going to continue with this is a 1/4 inch brush. You can't draw with a 1/4 inch brush, so you just do shapes with it. If you have a round brush, you're tending to draw with it. And so I don't want to. I just want to look at the big masses of values and colors. Now this is a truck that's on the side here, and it got a little bit dark, and so I'll lighten that up later too. And then I'm putting some little spots and dashes, dots, just to see that these are figures, the people walking around the path. Now right now they look like dots, but they'll turn out to be, in the real painting, they'll have a little bit more detail. And then I'll put a few little strokes on the bottom to indicate that they have legs. But when you look at a person from a distance, you don't really see each leg. You just see a shape like that, and that's what you really want. You don't want the detail. You want the expression, the overall part. Now there's a curb up here, and I thought that was kind of nice to keep in the painting. So I'll establish that. And then there are some shadows that are cutting across this, and I thought they are really nice. And so that's what I'm going to do, which gives a little bit more perspective to the street, and it also lays flat. And then as the shadow comes up over the curb, it does take on the contour of that curb. But you know, this is just a sketch. It's a quick thing, easy to do, and fun to do. Now my darkest darks are going in. You can see that truck is pretty dark. So the lesson here is we want to keep the church in lighter values, more like the sky would be, and then all of this is in darker and more contrast as we start to paint. So that's really what we want to look at, is all of the tents and so forth, and the carnival-like look as a market fest would have. And then I'm dancing with my brush up there for strokes of foliage. And I'm squinting at the photograph, and then squinting at my painting, and looking to see where some dark marks would be necessary. Put a couple windows up there. Now we know that definitely is a building. And a few down there. I'm going to darken this tree up, so that'll go up to the top part of the format, which is excellent because now that tree has tied the sky into the bottom part of the painting. And I think what I'm going to do is go right through that truck and have that tree touch the lower part of the format. But I don't like where it came in through the truck, so I'll correct that when it comes to the real painting. It came up through the cab, and cab is too important to have a big truck cover it up. Now what I'm doing is I'm just putting in a few more darks with a Izzy brush, not a flat brush. This is an Izzy brush, and it sort of behaves all its own. And so you get the mark that it leaves, and you probably would have wanted a different type of mark. But now you can see where my darker values lie. You can also see the the St. Mary's is the background. Now I'm going to put a diagonal sky of clouds coming across there. It's just really incidental, but it gives a nice, it takes away the white up there and also gives it sort of a texture of quality to the sky. Now I'm going to look in here and see if I can divide these shapes up just a little bit more into a jungle like I see in the picture, so that you really can't make out what it is, but you know there's activity going on in there. And just around that thing here, I got a person standing by that umbrella, a table next to them. The truck now is acting really as a nice balance with the dark, so I didn't expect that. That's really nice. Now I'm going to bring up some of those branches, but I can't go too far because those trees would be awfully too big. So it's further in the distance. That might have been too far. Okay, so that is what a sketch is all about. You know, it's experimenting, doing it quickly so you don't invest a lot of time. Now I'm modeling St. Mary's Church a little bit, putting some of the windows in. But you notice it's just strokes. It's nothing more than that, and also it's not in detail. We don't want any detail up there, but you want something. And so I think it's turning out pretty good. So the assignment is to take two photographs, one for a background and one for the foreground, and then make a painting out of it. And I hope that this particular demo will show you that process. So thank you for watching, and hope you have success with your painting.